How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good here. We got a nice sunny Wednesday out there, and here we are recording podcast number 27.
Yeah, number
A lot of things
27.
going on. A lot of things
Hey,
going
the
on.
city continues to keep our podcast in business, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Certainly do. Yeah. A lot
Well,
of stuff going on, especially down there in the island.
yeah, there's stuff going on the island. We got stuff that I think is important to share about the ambulance. We have a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on, and so why don't we jump right into it?
Let's get right into it. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. Hey, before we get going, Timmy, to the podcast, I just want to remind everybody that it's really easy to subscribe to our show. All you got to do is jump over to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe, hit the little bell. If there's a like button, hit like. And every time we have a new show and we upload that show, you'll get a little notification sent to your phone or your computer to know that the new show is up. And then go on, watch it, enjoy it, and don't be afraid to critique us, man. We always like to hear what you got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to yell because I said "gotta," but you got to listen to it and then tell us what you think.
And hey, we're always willing to have people come on too on the podcast. There's very few takers out there. Okay, come on in, people.
Well, hey, listen. Here's the one thing I learned about a small little city. People are scared that if
Yeah,
you go out there and you speak your
especially in
piece,
Cohoes.
yeah, somebody's got to retaliate against you. And I get it.
Yeah,
Not everybody wants to be involved in that nonsense. A lot of people, Timmy, just want to go about their lives, right? Live their
yeah,
lives and have as little drama in their life as
yep,
possible. Boy, do I know that all too
yeah,
well. So,
yep.
it's incumbent upon you and I to bring forth all of the good
Yeah.
news, the good,
Hey,
bad, and the ugly.
we'll take all the bows and arrows, okay, for everybody else out there.
I got so
Bring
many
them
holes
on,
in me.
okay.
I got so many holes in me that I stand in my garden and drink my water, and that way I can
Yeah,
water the flowers at the same time when the water comes out of my knife
bring
holes,
it on,
the
okay.
knife wounds. Yeah. So hey, Timmy, let's jump right into the first question. Is the Cohoes Democratic Party dead? Uh,
Certainly seems it. What we see going on.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, the
Yeah,
Democratic Party, I was part of it for years. I've been going to the Democratic picnic for years. You're talking 600 people packed into that Yuki Club every year. Rain or shine, it did not matter. They would pack the house, and people from all walks of life in the city of Cohoes, Democrats, would go there. They'd break bread together. They'd talk about the city. They'd have some beers, eat some good food, listen to the politicians spill their bullshit speeches. But they always had a good time. But
mm.
rumor has it that the party this year was a flop, that there was less than 100 people. Now, I'm sure there'll be others that say, oh, that's crazy. But three different people who went to the party who reported back to me told me that it was one of the worst they've ever seen, if not the worst. And there was nobody there. A little bit
I
of
was
rain.
told, yeah, I was told there was like 60 people at best, and Gil told me he sold 300 tickets.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of interesting. And one of the things that I really believe is that, the mindset of kids today has nothing to do with party, right? It
Yeah,
has to do with what candidate's best for them. And when you're young, I'm sorry, you may not like this. You have a lot of screwed up ideas, right? I mean,
hmm
we're arguing about whether a boy's a boy and a girl's a girl. We're arguing about whether or not somebody could smash you over the head with a pipe and then they don't get in trouble and they're released from jail. Not jail, I shouldn't even say. They're released from the police station 5 minutes later only to come back and do it again, right? We've seen it right here in Cohoes. And it seems like a lot of these young kids look at issues and they decide, what issue best fits their needs. And sometimes when you're a kid, you're crazy. I was a crazy kid. You're a crazy kid. We have different ideas, but I don't think they mesh with the Cohoes Democratic Party, especially when you consider the average age of the party is probably in their 70s now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I
You know,
think Gil Ethier is the best looking guy in his 80s that I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, yeah.
But
He's
he,
doing well. He's got a bum knee, but he's still getting around.
I mean, when I see him, I'm in awe, and I say, God, please let me look like that guy does in his 80s. But looking good is one thing. Having the ability to have a party of people that are able to kind of shift their paradigms around to meet the needs of the kids today and the younger people seems to be a failing proposition with the Cohoes Democratic Party.
Yeah, and of course, we got somewhat of a rebellion going on down on the island. That's
Yeah,
my choice of words.
I like to say there's a lot of rats in that
Rats.
party these days. They're not
Oh yeah,
loyal. There's no more loyalty to the king, or
yeah,
I used to say even thieves were loyal to each other in the sense that you wouldn't rob another guy who was robbing you. I mean, there was a sense
yeah,
of like, people stuck together.
yeah.
Um, but today's
N-
party doesn't seem that way.
Not
And
going
and
on.
and the question is the party really fractured, or is the party doing what the party does best in 2024, which is put up a facade and make
Yeah,
it look like they're supporting the person who may have been elected by the people in a primary, but what they're really doing is undermining that person and trying to get the puppet back into the play so they can continue to pull the strings they already know how
yeah,
to pull, right? And
yeah.
that question kind of arises when you go down to Van Skyke Island.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
and here you'll see in this picture, you have an Alicio sign on somebody's lawn, and you'd say, okay, there's still people going to vote for Justin. He's a good guy, and we like him personally, and we don't even have to necessarily care about his politics. We like him, and in small cities, it's not always about the candidate that meets the needs of the party or all the people. Sometimes it's who do you know, and you pick your buddy, right? But what makes this kind of interesting is that Alicio sign is on a lawn of Tommy McGrath, who has been a long time Democratic committee member.
Yes. On
And
the island.
on the island. Now, I'm not a big Tommy McGrath fan, never have been. Always thought he was a wishy washy guy. I never would, you don't want to tell him a secret because he could gab better than the Gabbies. And I never really trusted the guy to save my life. I was never a fan. In
Right.
fact, when he
So
ran the
here.
neighborhood watch, it was like, it was like one of those movies that you'd go sit in there and say, "Oh my God, this is crazy." All you do
So,
is
yeah.
hear whining and
So
crying about things that are not even really legitimate
right.
safety issues, right? It was just
So
like,
I yeah, and and I have some people I know that are on the Democratic committee, and Gil had a meeting with these people and told the people voted, they made a choice, and we have to back the candidate that they voted for, which was Tom Fife. So what do we have? We got another committee member right there, Tommy McGrath, with an Alicio sign in front of his house.
yeah. So the question is there a division in the old guard? Because Tommy McGrath's got to be in his late 70s as well, right?
Yeah,
Is,
yeah,
is Tommy looking to just say to Gil, I don't care what you say, and I'm not a loyalist to the Democratic Party no more. I'll
yeah,
put who I want to? Because if that's the case, throw his ass off the Democratic Party. Why would you
yeah.
have him on the party if he's not going to support the party candidate?
Well, also some rumors there that he wants to take over, thinking Gil is aged out, even though he's close to him.
Well, he's close.
But
Well,
that's
this isn't the neighborhood watch where
right.
everybody's older than you are.
Yeah, yeah,
Tommy McGrath trying to take over the Democratic Party would be a joke at the highest level. I don't know if
yeah,
that's true. I would doubt very much
yeah.
that that's true. The
But
question I
something's going
have
on.
is: was the meeting to tell those people to support Tommy Fife just a facade? Because
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do once the party endorses a candidate and
support
the
him,
people.
but we really want the puppet.
Yeah, because I would think that Gil would be making some kind of issue with it. Would he be
Yeah,
picking up the phone saying, "Geez, Tom, just got to ask you a question. If you're going to stay on the party, why would you be endorsing Alicio
yeah. I
after
guess so.
after Sean or Tom or Pete or Steve or Timmy or whoever
Yeah,
ran for a spot in a
yeah,
primary and won?"
yeah,
Because that's the people saying that's our candidate.
yeah.
But
And but Tommy McGrath is ignoring that.
yeah, so I think it's kind of funny. So, Tommy, why don't you give us a call and let us know? Are you just a rat in the Democratic Party? Are you just not a strong loyalist to the king anymore?
Yeah,
What's the reason that you got a Alicio sign on? Now, if you support him, I'm okay with that. I
yeah.
tell you, I like Alicio. He's a good guy. I mean,
But but he's not running as a Democratic candidate,
right.
Tom.
So the question I have has nothing to do
Somebody's
with
got to
the.
go, right?
That's right. It has nothing
Either
to do with the guy's
Alicia's got to
character.
go
It's
or
got to
McGrath's
do
got
with
to go.
are you a Democratic committee member
Yeah.
And if you are, why do you not support the Democratic candidate? And are you doing it because you don't agree with Gil, or are you doing it because Gil's telling you it's okay to do because he could care less if Alicio wins or Tommy, right?
Yeah.
Tommy's not
Right.
a fan of Gil's. We all know that. So
Yeah.
he's not going to be giving Gil kissies in the ear, right?
Well, you don't see him rushing down to take photo ops with him, with the mayor either, do you? With Tom Fife. That
I
ain't
just think,
happening.
yeah, I just think it's really cool politics because it's a great example of Cohoes is crumbling at every level. You have a mayor who could care less about the party. You got the party who could care less about the candidate that the people pick. You got the redistricting that took place where the party said, oh, I don't know nothing about it. Horseshit, they didn't know nothing about it. No redistricting takes place without the party's
Hmm.
blessing because
Yeah.
the whole thing is about party politics.
Yeah.
Um, you got the island that's divided. You got all kinds of problems. You got a city falling apart, and and now you have a Democratic Party that's certainly not showing their united when it comes to supporting the Democratic candidate. Because
Hmm.
if they were supporting the Democratic candidate, and Tommy was a strong Democrat that he says he is, wouldn't his lawn look more like this with a Tommy Fife sign on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that would be what you would think when you went by his house, right?
Right. Right. But it's in your face, Gil.
That's right. Because I'm walking down the street and I know who the Democratic committee members are. And how come they got a non Democratic sign on their lawn?
Hmm.
Now, that
Yeah.
tells me two things, right? Either Gil don't give a shit and he's saying it's okay. And they're all pretending, oh, geez, I don't know. I'll talk to him. Or they don't really care because they don't want Tommy Fife. I'm going to go with the latter of the two. I don't think they want Tommy Fife. You know why? Because the guy has courage. He
Yeah.
runs in the burning buildings. He saves people's lives. He ain't afraid of these clowns. He's
Hmm.
got courage of his own convictions. And
Yeah.
I know what
And
his
they're not.
convictions are. I've known the kid since he came on the fire department. His convictions are whatever I think is best for the citizens. When I listen to them and I make a decision, it's going to be what's best for the island. I'm not going to be
Hmm.
breaking bread, hanging out, and feeling like I'm important. Like all of a sudden, I'm going to hang out with a guy like Keeler. I wouldn't hang out with him or pick him in gym class. Now he's hanging out. He's my buddy. Tommy's not going to do that. That's not
Yeah.
Tommy Fife. Tommy Fife is this is best for the island, and I'm not going to change my stripes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, and I really wonder what the real reason is for Tommy McGrath's sign. It was interesting that
Yeah.
was going on.
Next topic.
Well, the next topic is really it's a topic we talked about 150 times. But this, my friend, is
Hmm.
insane. This shows the incompetence of a guy in charge of your city. This shows that this man should never be in power. He should never be allowed to
Hmm.
make decisions. And this is the ambulance again.
Yeah.
And if you were on Facebook, the Cohoes Firefighters Union posted something, and I thought it was very interesting. And it says, later this morning, the mayor, fire chief, and council member, I don't know what council member or members, discussed a multi year contract extension with ambulance.
Right.
Mayor Keeler is looking for a 10-year deal. What an asshole. What a
Yeah.
moron. What a
Right.
fool. What
Yeah.
man ties his city to a 10-year contract
Right.
for an ambulance that is going to charge them $1.04 million a year with a 4% increase every year? That's
Yeah.
$14 million over 10 years for an ambulance that used to cost zero.
Yes.
That
Yep.
doesn't improve the city any way, shape, or form because there's a lot of ways to provide ambulance
Right.
services.
And he's trying to tie the hands of the incoming administration in just 3 months.
Listen, if
Okay.
you
It's
owned a
going to be the
business,
council.
you
Yeah.
don't even know what next year brings
Right.
or the year after.
Exactly.
Maybe a new ambulance company comes and says, hey, we'll do it for a fraction of that cost. See,
Yeah.
what you have to understand is that ambulance company needs a city as much as a city needs an ambulance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't make no money if there ain't no patients. And
Right.
if they're picking up
Yeah.
3,000 people a year from Cohoes at $800,000 a piece, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And
Okay,
we're paying them to do it.
and they get the million on top of that.
And they get free rent.
and they get free rent, and they're probably getting half price or free gas.
And down on the island, they're training these guys free in the firehouse, sponsored by the
Anybody,
city of Cohoes. They're running
anybody,
private business right out of the city of Cohoes.
anybody who would sign a 10-year contract and put this city
Yep.
into a position for the next 10 years they can't get out of if something better or smarter comes along
Yeah.
is a moron.
Yeah.
And the
Exactly.
only moron that I see wanting to do that, well, I don't know what the council's going to do because this council's a moron group as well. But
Yeah.
the only one I see wanting to do that is the guy who's in charge, the mayor of the city.
Yeah.
And that
What's
goes to
wrong with
show
this
you
guy?
he's a fool.
Yeah. I just can't figure out what's wrong with this guy.
He can't figure it out. He's just not that smart.
No,
He's
I mean,
not.
it makes no sense why you would do this.
Who's giving you advice to say tie your city's hands for 10 years? Now, you know, and I know that
Hmm.
there was just a report released by the commission that said you will save over $1 million a year in year 3 if, in fact, you have the city firefighters run it.
Hmm.
And Keeler couldn't wait to jump out and say, no, it's $2 million a year. He's lying.
Yeah.
Pinocchio's nose is not as big as Keeler's nose.
Yeah.
It's
Right. And I'm thinking he's getting his advice from the same people that sold him the LED lights.
well, I give you a funny story because I'm going to talk. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the LED. We've talked about it 1,000 times, but I
Right.
sent an
But
email
back to the
today.
ambulance. Yeah.
Well, I sent an email today and asked about the information about the lights, and
The
they're going to
breakdown.
come back and say, well, the 400,000 is
Yeah.
for other things as well. It is just a dog and pony show all the way
Yeah.
around. You're never going to
Yeah.
get the truth. It's a failure at every level. $21,000 raise for me, and I'm going to tie the city taxpayers' hands for $10 million for a freaking ambulance. I can only tell you that Troy Ambulance Service, and they were run by some great guys, are crying every day because they were doing it for free. And they could have got $10 million from this clown who thinks giving out $10 million over, or $14 million, excuse me, because after you get the 4% raise over 10 years, it's $1.4 million or some crazy extra number on top of it. But it comes out to like $14.1 million. They got to be crying. They had to wish that the moron was in office for the last 10 years because they'd be multimillionaires 10 times over.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Timmy, the
Hmm.
taxpayers in a lot of trouble. This guy is out of control. His spending is out of control. His decision making is poor. You asked a committee in this city, the council did,
Yeah.
for a recommendation. I got to tell you, I read that committee report. I think it was like trivial at best, right? And I don't
Yeah.
buy a lot of it. To me, is not even
It
the
wasn't really
reality.
done right, and you didn't even have the experts on that board to
No,
really
because here's the
put together
reality.
something good.
I don't
You
care
know?
what the firemen say. I don't care what this committee says. I don't care what the mayor says. If you want to run a city based ambulance, all you have to do is guarantee 6 guys every day, 2 to run the ambulance, 4 to respond to any other calls. And if there's a fire, the ambulance gets parked and we use mutual aid and we return mutual aid. And if we have to have paid departments come in, or private companies come in on mutual aid, you can work that out. You
Yes.
can't
Yeah.
work it out when you have no relationship with them like this guy.
Right.
But all you need to do is this. They need 6 guys every day. Yes, there's going to be some overtime. That will be offset with the cost of the billing of the
But they'll
ambulance.
make money. Yeah, they're going to
And they'll
make
make
money.
money. You don't need to have this 3 years over a 3-year period. Bullshit. You
Yeah.
don't need 3 years.
Right.
I was in that firehouse. I
Waterville
represented
has 2
firefighters for a
ambulances.
long time. I'm not
Right.
smart, but I ain't stupid. And I know
Yeah.
this. Okay. If you just put an ambulance in, spend the $100,000 that you need to buy a used ambulance, get the equipment up and running, work with the union, guarantee them 6 guys while you have the ambulance, do it as a pilot program in case it doesn't work
Yeah.
and you can find something better. or
You could
cheaper.
always go, yeah, you could always go to Mohawk who offered a free ambulance
That's right. Do it
service.
as a pilot
You
program
know?
with your firefighters. Work out the deals. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take 3 years. It doesn't take hiring 8 people. If you want to hire 8 people because you want the staffing to be what it needs to be for the fire department, where it was when I
Yeah,
retired, then you hire the 8 people. If you hire 4 people and you have 8 guys a shift, then the union has to work with you. Only 2 guys can be off at a
yeah,
time. There's going to be 3. Sometimes there's going to be 4. People get sick, but you backfill that with overtime. So if the overtime costs you another 150,000 a year on top of the 150, and it's 300,000, and you're bringing in 1.5 million a year in revenue, you make money.
right.
So
I
forget
mean,
about all this bullshit. You got to put all these reports together.
yeah.
It's a simple process. Keep it simple. What do they used to say? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, it's called KISS. Keep
Yeah.
it simple, stupid.
And if you
And
keep
look
it
at,
simple,
and
you can do it.
they're billing people uh, anywhere from 1,500 to 27, $3,000 for a ride.
And the city's going to do the same thing because
27, right? Same thing. $27 a mile just to take them to a hospital.
and the
Okay,
city's billing everybody's going to
right?
bill at the maximum level of your health
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
that's the
Yeah,
key. So if the city does make 2 million in revenues and it's offset by 500,000,
yeah,
that's a positive cash flow.
yeah,
You have to
and
hire anyway. The city was already hiring firemen anyway.
yeah,
They had
that
a need. They wanted to hire 4 this year. I'm being told that the fire chief forgot to put the request in, so they had no slots for them to send them to school, so they couldn't hire them this year. Don't know if that's true or false, and I don't
well,
want
they
to make
got
it.
four new hires slated in the budget.
Okay, so there you go.
So
So
you
now
get
you got
four in the
4.
budget.
So now you're at like 8 guys a shift, right?
Hmm.
That's your 32 guys. Work with the union. Figure out how to do it. Come up with a consensus. You don't have to. You don't have to add the money into hiring guys like that
Well,
report did,
well,
because they already needed to hire them.
right. You got a bully sitting in the mayor's chair.
Bottom line
Okay,
is, it can be done. Don't believe what they're telling you. I'm
yeah,
giving you
it's
the
a lie.
numbers. I worked there. I was there. I know what it cost. I know how to do it. I could do it tomorrow. We'd have an ambulance in this city either free, or we'd have the
Yeah,
fire department doing it up and running within 6 to 7 months. Now,
and
the
I'd like to
question is, how do
say
you get the
this too.
paramedics and
Right.
the ALS? That's another issue. But
Well,
again,
we've got an expert, Otto
uh,
Matson.
we do. And plus, you don't
He's
have to
on the
be.
state faculty for
That's right.
all
And he
for
was a
training and
fireman
everything.
here.
He's a fireman. Okay, he's
But you don't have
retired
to be
now.
an expert. You have to just have some brains. Go to the experts and let
There's
them.
your man Otto.
Yeah,
And what happened?
Otto
Right,
would do a
what happened?
fantastic
You
job.
got the
So,
cold shoulder by McCarthy, cold shoulder by Adam Biggs. Okay, they wouldn't even consult the guy.
well,
Okay,
here's
the
what
guy
happens.
knows his stuff.
You don't consult with people that make you look stupid.
Yeah, and this is what
McCarthy's
happened.
not going to talk to Otto about EMS because he would look stupider than he is.
Right, and neither
That
would
would be
Chief
like me
Todd.
talking to him about sucking out sewers. What the hell do I know
Yeah,
about sucking out a sewer? I would turn to him and say, Bill, help me understand how to best do this. He should
yeah,
have the wherewithal and the concern for citizens to say, Otto, I don't
hmm,
care if they want you as our experts. Let me sit down and pick your brain.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
did every day. Pick the brains of smarter people.
That's
Use
what you
smarter
do.
people than you. That
You
makes you the
del
smartest of all.
you delegate your authority, and you surround yourself by the best people, the smart people, and you're successful.
Hey,
Keeler
Timmy,
doesn't get it.
they don't get it,
They don't get it.
or they don't want to get it.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
lot of
just
things going on in the city of Cohoes that if you just relied on smarter people than you would be the smartest of all,
yeah,
because you're
yeah.
smart enough to realize use smarter people. Smarter
Hmm.
people within each pigeonhole produces the
Yeah,
best outcome,
that's true. I agree with
right?
that.
I
Yep,
mean,
that's
that's
true.
just the way it works.
Yep,
And
I agree
unfortunately,
wholly with it.
unfortunately, the mayor told you right from the beginning he could give a shit what this report says, because the
Yeah,
arrogant bastard, the day after the report, goes and tries to strike a 10-year deal. Can you
yeah,
imagine a 10-year deal? All you got to do is look at Stanton with the Yankees and realize what happens when you give out 10-year deals. You get a shitty end at the end of their career, right? That's what may
mhm.
happen with the ambulance. How do you know they're not a bad ambulance? They've already had cities say, leave, right? Or counties.
Yeah, yeah.
My
They got
understanding,
booted.
I
Yeah,
won't
they
say
got
it
booted out.
factually. I read it in the paper.
Yeah, they got booted out of one.
So how do you
because
know
they
that?
wanted to renegotiate the contract
Yeah.
once they had a. And what are they doing? They're doing it to us now.
So what
Now
happens
that
if you sign a 10-year deal with these guys?
Yeah. So they did the same thing to this other county that end up booting them on out because only months after having a contract, they came in and said, let's renegotiate. They're doing it to us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The bottom
Same
line
thing.
is everything that we see is stupid going on in this city. So,
Yeah.
hey, the question for you is the Democratic Party dead? Is there a coup in the Democratic Party? Is Tommy
I
McGrath,
think
who's
so.
as old as Gil Ethier, looking to
I think
replace
so.
him? I don't think so. I think he said it's okay to put any sign you want up there. But hey, Gil should come on the show and tell us whether he said to Tommy, no, you should have the Democratic sign up here. And if you don't, maybe it's time for you to take a walk.
I think, yeah. I think right. I think I'm going to call Gil later on tonight and ask him what he thinks about the rebellion down on the sixth floor.
Well, listen, it's either one or two things. It's a
Yeah, either that
rebellion, or
or is or he's
or
in
he's
on
got
it.
the blessing from the Godfather.
Right, he's in on it.
It can't be both.
Yeah.
It's one or the
Well,
other.
we're gonna find out. We'll let you know in the next podcast.
We will. Hey, Timmy, it was good to see you. I hope that you have a great week. Enjoy the weather today. And everybody,
Yeah.
welcome to Cohoes, the good, bad, and ugly. As you can see, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of ugly. I don't
Couple
know if
things.
anything's uglier than me and Timmy, but
Yeah.
but
Well,
there's certainly
uglier than you.
a lot going on in Cohoes. And
But
hey,
look at.
stay safe. We wish you well, and we will see you next week.
Hey, I got 2 quick points though. We got the car show coming up, and we also have the Halloween trick or treat, which they're calling trunk or treat. Have a
Trunk or
good
treat.
day.
Hey, I'll see you later, Tim.